So a lot of people struggle with the idea of buying precious metals initially. And I know this because people have talked to me about it. In fact, I had a woman call me the other day and say, you know, I've been struggling with this for 2 years to finally make the decision to do this. And I thought, isn't that odd? But then I had to look at myself and go back to 1999. So 1999, I had a sizable amount of cash to invest, capital, and I was looking at a number of different things, and silver came up on the radar, so I looked into it. Well, I did as much research as I could do with a 1999 internet, and then I went to a couple of bullion dealers and talked to them, and honestly, I didn't get the answers I was hoping to hear. I got more confusion than anything, and so I decided against it. Now, fast forward to today, those of you that are struggling with this now probably have the opposite effect. There's actually a lot of voices on the internet, and that probably lends and adds to the confusion instead of clearing things up. And I can understand why, because if you listen to 10 different people, you get some similarities and agreements, but you'll get a lot of different things, and that's normal. It's natural because everybody's different. A person who has, you know, a bunch of real estate holdings and different businesses and stuff may have a different reason and logic for owning precious metals than you would. So you really can't import their experience and benefit from it. So this is a challenge. And the other thing that I think really causes people to stop and pause is the fact that, and this goes a little deeper, I read a really good book one time on behavioral psychology called Influence. It was primarily for marketers to look at the behavioral reasons that people buy. Well, why do people purchase? What drives that thought process? So one of the things that drives that thought process is something called social proof, meaning that people basically look around at what other people are doing for cues as to how to behave. All right, and this has been proven in tests. And so I think when it comes to gold and silver, I mean, stop and think about it. Any other purchase you were going to make, let's say you were going to buy a trailer or a motorhome or a cottage or something like that, there'd be tons of other people doing that. You could go on forums, there'd be all kinds of discussion about it, very positive atmosphere. Yeah, of course you're going to get people tell you you're crazy, you're always going to get that. But generally, when looking for support, you would find it. Well, being that only a small fraction of people are precious metals buyers, that's not right, but that's the way it is. Where do you turn to actually get support? There just aren't that many voices out there, you know, supporting the idea. And a lot of the voices that are supporting it are people like me that actually sell it. So, of course, there's a natural amount of, you know, mistrust to people who sell things, even though I'm fully invested in precious metals and it's what I believe in. You don't know that. I'm a store owner, so I have an agenda to sell the product, so you can't necessarily trust what I say, right? So this is the dilemma people go through. Of course, you can trust what I say, at least for me. The things that I do for myself are right for me in terms of precious metals, but then again, you know, my thought process and my feelings about it may not be right for you. So all people can do is really lay out a framework of how it kind of works, and you've got to sort of educate yourself as to how that fits into your life. And this is a difficult thing for people to do. We've often, with finances in our life, we've relied on others so much that we've almost lost the muscle and the impetus to be able to make some of these decisions ourselves. So no matter how much research you do and how much different angles that you look at it from, there's going to be a leap of faith, like anything. You can narrow down all of the negatives or all the concerns or all the options, and at some point you're going to have to make a leap of faith. You're just going to have to do it. And what happens when people do that, I find, and this is something people have reported back to me as well. In fact, a guy talked about it the other day. We were actually discussing this subject matter, and he said, yeah, you know, I didn't understand silver until I actually took it home. And he summed it up better than I ever could with that one statement. I went, wow, that ends it right there for me. This guy just did it. And it's so true. Until you actually own it and commit to it and make the decision, then it's not going to make sense to you. Once you make that decision, now you've got something invested. You got some skin in the game. You're going to take yourself and your positions on why you're doing this more seriously. So maybe that's the way we have to do it, folks. You narrow down all the concerns you have, and then at some point you just have to dive in and make a choice, right? So at the end of the day, I guess what comes down to is everybody's different. Listen to lots of different voices. Don't get, you know, too committed to any one voice, including mine. Understand the fundamentals of how, you know, gold and silver, precious metals affect inflation and affect, you know, purchasing power over time and things like that. And I think you'll come to the same conclusion that everybody has that has ever really analyzed it in any worthwhile fashion, that it's a great choice for just about anybody. So that's all I have to say on that, folks. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.